So I do have a couple more things to say about the Moodle before we leave tonight, but it's under the homework area. So let's turn our attention now to something completely different. And now for something completely different. Anybody Monty Python fan? No, okay, at least one. Okay. So anyways, so these really beyond finishing the Moodles, which I know some of you are going, what do you mean beyond that? That's like a ton of stuff. But we do have this one other activity to finish up. The Moodle has been obviously primarily targeted towards asynchronous online instruction, allowing students to access content when and sort of how they wish. Some of it, I know some of you have been working sort of thinking in the context of supporting a class that may be partly synchronous, and then this supports that. But the Moodle is basically an asynchronous tool. So we want to get in, aside from you being students in a synchronous class, which is what all of our WebEx has been, give you the experience of what it's like to be on the other side of the screen in terms of teaching synchronously. This is a little less common in the world of online instruction because honestly, online instruction is stronger with the asynchronous idea. That's the whole point of it, is allowing people to do things when they want. But I see a lot more schools moving towards things where, like on snow days, if they know their students all have devices, actually having teachers just teach their classes from home, and then you don't have a snow day to make up at the end of the year. I think there's some districts up in Vermont that are actually making that part of their policy now so that they don't have a lot of snow days. So I can see that not in the not too distant future. So I want to give you an idea of what that's like to be on the other end of this. So that's what the Zoom is about. The goal, the bottom line, which I know I've explained to a couple people, is that experience. Okay, that's really what it's about. It's not so much about the content. So don't panic too much if the Web 2.0 thing you're doing is maybe not entirely from the instructional world or something like that. It's really more about your experience of teaching synchronously through web conferencing. So that's the main goal. Your subject matter, just to support what we do, I have asked you to pick something from the world of Web 2.0, some tool that students can use or that you can use it generally that involves interaction through websites. So over the last few weeks, you guys have been presenting your thoughts about what you would like to do your topics on. I do have a page we're going to look at in just a second where I put them all in one place. The presentations are only going to be 20 to 25 minutes. So for some of you, I know who's doing the Google Classroom.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to be able to do all of Google Classroom in 20 minutes. So yeah, it's like a piece of it. So you may have a topic like that. So the idea is not that you're going to teach us in 25 minutes everything there is to know about whatever this tool is. Pick something. Imagine maybe you're teaching this Web 2.0 tool as part of a larger class, and this is one segment of it. So it could be an introduction to it, or it could be a particular character or something that it can do, or ways to apply it, or whatever. So you get to kind of pick that out. So the presentation is going to be a lesson. So it should have an instructional goal. This should not just be Sage on the stage, you just talking for 25 minutes, because that could just be a video, right? This should somehow make use of the interactivity of a web conference. So you should offer opportunities for student interaction with the material and with the class. Zoom offers breakout rooms, kind of like what we've been doing with the chat rooms in WebEx. So you could have some quick thing where you ask the other people in the class to go off into groups. You could have a link to something that you want people, maybe a video you want people to watch, or a quick little form or a quiz or something. Not a quiz isn't the right word, but you want to get feedback or something like that. So something beyond you just sitting there for 20 to 25 minutes just talking about something. So think of it in an instructional standpoint. You will be also making a recording of the presentation. That can be done right within Zoom. There's a thing you say, just record this, and it'll record everything on your screen and the sounds. You'll be posting that video when you're done. And you will also be getting feedback, and that's part of the little buffer time between each of the presentations. is that I will be creating forums in our class Moodle so that when a person's presentation is done, you can go into that forum and kind of like what you're doing with the Moodles tonight, just give quick feedback about the presentation. Okay, so that's kind of the overview. So in terms of requirements, and a lot of it I've already covered, topics should relate to some sort of Web 2.0 tool, so something in the instructional technology world that's interactive. You will be doing an instructional design plan, and that's part of the homework over the next couple of weeks, similar to what we did with the Moodle. I've pared it down a little bit because this is a smaller scope, but similar types of questions. What's the problem you're trying to solve? How do you plan on, sort of what's your sequence for your 20 to 25 minutes and so on. Length of the lesson between 20 and 25 minutes, so plan your content accordingly. The forum, I will be creating the forum, but before you do your presentation, you will need to put a post up about your presentation. Is there something people need to have ahead of time? Do you have a handout that you want them to be able to look at? One of the things you'll need to do is the link to your Zoom classroom. Each of your Zooms will have a web URL. We're going to need that so we can actually go to your class. So the first post in your presentations forum will be from you, simply giving information to the class about what they need. So that'll be one piece of it. Lesson should have at least one interactive element that will engage the students. It could be a question and answer session, breakout rooms, like I said, a handout, something that's beyond just a one-way video presentation. Some sort of formal and informal assessment. Again, that could be a quick exit slip. Or maybe you want to set up a quick little poll of, what else would you like to learn about this tool or something along those lines. So again, think instructionally. How do you know you've reached your instructional goal at the end? And then, as I said, capturing the video, which will be done as you're doing the presentation. Yes?
So like in terms of, like I'm thinking of like the elements and like the assignments, like assessing whether or not they get it or being able to interact. Like Zoom has these features that we can access. So while they're watching, they can like do stuff.
It depends on what it is. It's you can screen share, so you can be pulling things up on your screen for people to see.
Right.
In the forum on our Moodle, if you like have a link you need, so say you use a Google form to have people do a quick exit slip, then you would just put a link to that Google form in the forum.
Oh, okay.
All right. So Zoom is web conferencing, so it's just going to be the communication piece back and forth.
That's why.
If you have additional materials, we're still going to use Moodle as the place for those materials to get posted. So you'll have to kind of pre-plan. You'll get your post up that'll include anything people will need to access during your presentation. And then during your presentation, you may say, okay, everyone go to the Moodle and click on the link to fill out the form.
Okay.
All right, so.
Is it too much to ask people to sign up for Google?
You can, if that's something that is key, I would say if you're going to do that, just make sure it's a free something.
Okay.
Right, but yeah, if you have something where as part of your thing you want everybody to actually be able to go in and look at something, then if it's a free thing, then again, as part of the pre-post, you would say, before my presentation, please sign up for an account at such and such and provide the link. Okay, we'll know ahead of time who's going in what time slots, and the rest of the class will know that the week prior to a person's presentation, they need to go in and check and see if there's anything they need to do before the class. All right, it'd be similar to this class where you check in and see what is it that I need to be prepared for.
Can I just ask, does everybody use the Office subscription that CCSU provides?
Not the CCSU.
For Office 365?
Yeah, we all have Office 365.
No,
Is it on the Macs that Yvette gave us?
It's on, no, it's
That answers my question.
okay.
No.
I'm not going to do that interactively.
Microsoft is moving to a completely online for their suite. It's called Office 365. It's sort of their answer to Google Docs and all that. So you can now access Word and Excel and PowerPoint strictly through the web. And most institutions now have Office 365. So you all do have that. And that actually gives you, if you don't have Word, I mean, most people do, but I think you get 3 or 5 free downloads of the full software you can put onto your own machines and use that. Our school is now a strict Microsoft school, so every student in our district gets the entire Office suite that they can download on their own machines, and they all have a
got it too.
Outlook, email address, and so. But yeah, I guess not everyone is taking advantage of that. So, all right, so that's the overview. In terms of the plan, well, actually, I can go right into this because this will then kind of cap off everything. Where did the night go? I went into tonight thinking, oh, we're not going to have nearly enough to fill tonight's class, and now here it is, almost 7:30. So homework, and again, this is for the next 2 weeks because we don't have a WebEx class next week. So number one, to take a step back, the Moodle ID, and I know a number of you have asked about this. All I want you to do in your Moodle, if you haven't already, somewhere in that top header section where we've got the feedback activity and some of that other stuff, just create a page and then go into what you posted in the forums earlier in the course. We already did all this work in 2 forum posts. Go into your post, copy your answers, paste them into that page, and then make any adjustments, because a lot of you obviously have made changes probably since you did that original instructional design. So start, and I gave you links to both of the forums here so you can get right back to them, find your post, just copy what you did there, paste it onto the new page, and then just make any adjustments.
If we have our own Google Doc, we don't have to use that, right?
If you've already got it on
Yeah.
your Moodle, then you're
keep...
fine. As long as
Okay.
I can go in and see your current instructional design. So, but if you don't have one, then just create a page, create a Moodle page, paste the stuff in there, and just clean it up so it looks pretty. And then any changes, make sure that those changes are reflected. So, so just as sort of a final piece of the puzzle. And then obviously the Moodle project is the big thing over the next couple of weeks. Keep working. Now you've got all this feedback. I have a link to the original assignment page if you want to double check the rubric or double check the required elements. I think that was back in week 3 or 4 that was posted, but there's another link to it right here. Moodles are officially due in 2 weeks on April 16th. But again, I'm not a hard ass when it comes to deadlines like that. So let me know if you think you're not going to be done on that time, and it'll be fine. And then the other thing is on the Zoom presentation. So I want you to start developing your ID plan for your presentation. So this is going to look similar to what you did for your Moodle, but it's pared down. So just 8 things, the problem, and that's just, whatever Web 2.0 tool you're using, whatever part of it, the problem is essentially, my students don't know how to, I don't know what, a good example, somebody's doing YouTube. My students don't know how to upload a video to YouTube, right? So whatever it is you're going to be addressing, just turn that into the problem. The need, this one's pretty easy because it's going to start off with something like the students need to be presented with an online lesson that teaches them how to upload videos to YouTube. All right, so these are a little artificial for this just because we are making the assignment what it is. Learning outcomes, what is it that all the people who watch your 20-minute presentation should be able to do when they're done? What's the content? And again, all of these tie into each other. So the content may be a skill that they're able to do or knowledge about something or something like that. So that's your analysis. I'm not asking you to analyze the audience because we know who the audience is and a couple of other things. In terms of the design, what strategies are you planning to use? One of them obviously is direct online instruction because we're using Zoom, but what other strategies are you planning on using? Are you going to use small groups or breakout rooms? Are you going to use Q&A discussions? What else? How else do you see going beyond just you talking to the class? Then instead of the segmenting, which we did for the Moodle. Here, it's really just about what's your sequence. You've got 20 to 25 minutes to work with. How much time do you want to spend doing each of the things that you're going to do in those 20, 25 minutes? That's essentially a lesson plan. So just a quick breakdown of that. Materials. Do you need to provide a handout? Do you need to provide a link to something? Is there a video you need them to watch? So what sort of materials do you see needing? And then that last little bit, what sort of an evaluation are you going to use? And this doesn't have to be a big formal assessment. It could be a quick exit slip. It could just be you asking a question live in the class and seeing if people give you the responses that you need. So, but just some way that you know that you've met the learning outcomes for your students. Okay, so so this will get you thinking and planning and putting together what it is you're going to do for that 20-25-minute presentation. This doesn't have to be completely done for the next class in 2 weeks, but it should be mostly there because we're going to spend the next class talking about Zoom itself, and then the presentations are actually going to be starting the week after that. So I know you've got your Moodles that you're mainly focused on, but when you get sick of looking at your Moodle, come over here and answer a couple of questions and just kind of chip away at it over the next couple of weeks. All right, so any questions on that? Yes?
Does Zoom have a, like, raise your hand option like WebEx?
Yes, yes, it does. I can't remember if it's a raise hand or it might be a thumbs. I think it's a thumbs up on Zoom. But there are little quick, like click this button on or off to say yes or no. All right, so that's kind of that. Oh, and yeah, and in terms of that, I know I did it as a forum. For this once, you do not need to respond to other people's posts. So that, I'm really just using the forum as a way for you to put the answers in for me to see, but you don't have to go and look at other people's plans for their Zoom presentations and provide commentary. Okay, so yeah, just if you get a little time, if you haven't used Zoom, play around with it a little bit, but that is going to be the main subject of our next class in 2 weeks, is to actually look at Zoom and see how it differs from WebEx and so on. All right, so that is the plan for 2 weeks from now. Okay, any other last comment? Yes.
So in the forum there, you want us to start the analyze, design, development for that?
Yeah,
Put that in there?
yeah, so what you would do in the actual forum is, as we did with the other one, copy and paste. So grab all the questions, create your post, paste it in, and then just start typing in your responses.
It wasn't me, and then I clicked on the thing.
Yes.
And it turned into like
Work on it offline.
video, and I was like, what is she doing?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What the hell is she doing?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
I clicked it and I went,
Just so everyone hears, that's okay. So just like we did with the Moodle design, you'll copy these questions, create your post, paste it in. But that is a one-shot thing, so you might want to start by pasting it into a Word document or something, answering the questions there, and then putting that into your post, unless you want to just do it all right there in real time. And you can always, if you miss something or change something, you can always write a reply to your own post that says, oh, actually, I want to do this, or I want to change this, or get rid of that, or something like that. So, okay. So bottom line is, really, it's mostly all about the Moodles these next 2 weeks. Get your instructional design in one place. Continue finishing out all the rest of your content and so on. Then, little bits and pieces here and there. When you need a break, think a little bit about your Zoom presentations and what you're going to do those on, and so on. So, and then I will see you in 2 weeks online. We will be online for that class in 2 weeks. Okay. Anything else?
Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow, yeah, because most of you are in. Tomorrow night, the class will officially start at 6. I will probably actually get here before 6, but I just wanted to be safe. However, Dr.
You don't want
Beds.
to do that one online?
What's that? Yeah. Dr. Abed is fine. If people want to get here at 5 and meet with their game groups, he'll be here. Just come and find him and ask him to open up the lab, and he'll open up the lab for you. But class will officially be from 6 to 7:30 tomorrow night.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for coming on to campus.